Now, Jordan, a staunch U.S. ally in the region, has called Trump's decision null and void. The Hashemite kingdom that rules the country is the custodian of the holy sites of Jerusalem. It's one of 57 Muslim countries that declared East Jerusalem as the capital of Palestine at a summit called by Turkey earlier this month. Joining us from Amman is the former Deputy Prime Minister of Jordan, Jawad العناني. Thank you very much for talking to us on Al Jazeera. So Jordan, too, has a stake in Jerusalem, as I'm saying, as a custodian of the holy sites. But at the same time, Jordan is economically dependent on the United States. So this puts the government and the king in a tough position.
Well, thank you very much. I think that Jordan has been a custodian of the holy places. However, I would like to caution against the fact that we should not reduce the issue of Palestine and the issue of Jerusalem only to a religious matter. It is a political and a human rights issue. Your gentleman who spoke from West Jerusalem tried to show it as if it was just mere religious rights. Religious rights, of course, have their own sanctity, and we should respect them very much. And the Hashemite family, of course, is the custodian of the King Abdullah of the Second of Jordan, is the custodian of holy places.
But ever since Trump took his decision to declare Jerusalem as Israel's capital, we've seen Jordan take a tough stance. But how long can it continue with that stance, seeing that it is dependent on U.S. economic aid? And is Jordan worried that the U.S. will follow through on its threat to cut off foreign aid to countries who voted against the U.S. at that UN General Assembly resolution, in which Jordan, of course, did?
Well, I agree with you that the aid to Jordan is an important part of the total aid which Jordan receives from the outside. But in terms of percentage to the GDP or even to the budget, in terms of budget, the allocations barely add up to 15%. And in terms of the GDP, they are only probably 3% or 2%. So anyway, when you say that Jordan is dependent on the U.S. foreign aid, of course, as much as it is important, as well as the aid from other countries, but it still is not, does not make Jordan solely dependent on that source.
You yourself were involved in the peace process between Jordan and Israel. Would you say that the peace process, the peace deal, still has support in Jordan today?
Yes, I agree with you that Jordan right now, if you go back a little bit to 1991, when the architecture of the negotiations was made, the Palestinian-related issues were divided into two stages. There was the interim stage, and there was the final status negotiations. Now, the Israeli government at that time, although it was a right-wing government, had accepted the fact that Jerusalem was something to be negotiated within the framework of final negotiations. Now, Jordan sticks to that position, believes that Jerusalem is an occupied territory, especially East Jerusalem, and that for Israel to be accepted as a country with Jerusalem, West Jerusalem as its capital, they also must come to recognize that East Jerusalem is the Palestinian capital.
All right. We thank you very much for joining us from Amman in Jordan.
Thank you.